Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and, all right, put this right here. Okay, so let me go back here. So clarity by design. This is a PowerPoint created by LuLaRoe, and it is in Fashion Fundamentals. So you can go back and actually download this PowerPoint if you ever, want to go back and look at it. You can. Alana. So, but it says clarity by design, which I love because I feel like a lot of times we think things are out of our control and that they just happen as they happen. But many things are under our control, and we can take them and design how we want them to be. So, in defining our roles, in each level, we can have more clarity in what our role is and what we're supposed to do. So, the first role that I wanted to cover was a Q Club. Someone in the Q Club. So we get those every so often here, and I know Emily has one on her team right now, Chantel. And so these are the roles of a Q Club member, and this is what they have asked the Q Clubbers to do. The first thing is to host at least 2 in-home pop-ups. Now, I think by that point, most of the Q Club members have hosted an in-home pop-up, but if they've only hosted an online pop-up, then I do really think it's a good idea for them to have the experience of doing an in-home pop-up. So the first one I think is really great. Have them be the host of an in-home pop-up. They're not going to be the ones that are selling. They're going to be the host, and they're going to see what it's like to have an in-home pop-up and get that experience, because I think we all started that way and realized, okay, I see what this is, and I think I can totally do that. Number 2 is they need to really identify their why and why they've decided to do this business, and then create a why sentence. Have either of you created your why sentence, which is basically a shorter version of your why? I hadn't actually created my why sentence until last night when I've been on this training, a trainer, like they call it Focus 5 training. And so it's every day this week, they have us go on and listen to a training and participate in a training. But one of our assignments yesterday was to create our why sentence if we hadn't created it. And so I actually went down or wrote down my actual why sentence. And it's something that you'll be able to tell people just in normal conversation, and it's a short, like 15 to 20 second sentence or 2. So it doesn't have to be just one sentence, but I realized, I had not actually created that. And to be honest, my why has always been super unclear, and I think I really have kind of defined more why I do this. I was talking to Mike last night, and I was like, okay, so I need to decide, I need to write down why I do this. And I was kind of making like a business playbook, and one of the questions was, why does your business exist? And I was like, okay, so my business exists to help pay off debt. And he just laughed like in my face, because he's like, that is not why you're doing this. Oh, goodness gracious. There you go. He laughed in my face, and I was like so offended. I'm like, really? Ugh, I'm so offended. Why would you laugh at me for that? And he's like, that is not why you're doing this. Like, you don't work all these hours and put your heart and soul into it because you want to pay off debt. Like, let's just be honest. And I was like, after a little while, and I was like thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. And then I kind of floated over to, well, maybe it's because I want to help people and make them feel good about themselves. And after I thought about that too, it didn't really feel right. And as much as I do want to do that, as much as that's part of what I do, it's not why I do it. And so as I thought about it further and went back kind of to how I grew up, I remember that, I thought of like the time that I spent dancing ballroom and practicing for ballroom, and how awesome I'd feel when, I accomplished something like I won, or I placed in one of my competitions, or I made the dance team that I wanted to be on, or I got a place in the dance, like a spotlight place in a dance, and I felt really good. And I realized that's why I do LuLaRoe, is because it proves to myself, it proves to me and to others, and it shows me that I can accomplish whatever I want to accomplish, whatever I choose, whatever I want to be. I am showing myself that I can be that, and I can do that, whatever I want to set out to do. And I think a lot of that is because is part of my orange personality. I have an orange and then secondary blue personality, which means orange is all about freedom. And I definitely love the freedom I have to choose what I want to be. I could never settle for just, something, I don't want to say mediocre, but just something like where we talked about being in a rut. Like I couldn't settle for that. I always want to be doing more and being more. And that is what LuLaRoe is for me. So anyway, I would like to challenge you guys to also, in addition to memorizing the mission statement, I'd love for you guys to really define your why, and write down your why sentence, which can be a couple sentences, but just get that why sentence defined. Something that you can memorize and that you can say. Okay, so that's what you want to help your Q Club members to find. And that might take you, really making some personal contact with them, or meeting with them and just chatting with them, because I think it's hard for you to open up to someone until you really have a good relationship with them, and to be able to share that why. So number 3 role for the Q Clubbers is attend weekly Q Club webinars. Attend weekly Q Club webinars. That's hard to say, which is a given. And you guys know how smart it is to be plugged in, to make sure you're always hearing what is the latest, also getting the training that you need. We need to be learn-it-alls. We need to constantly be learning and growing. And even if we're learning and hearing the same things that we've already learned, there's always something new we can hear, and always something different that we might hear out of that training. So, okay. And then number 4, learn the culture, history, mission, values, and basics of LuLaRoe. And so this culture, you guys, I know that you guys know what the culture is. I know that it's about that love, purpose, trust, growth, confidence. It's about serving others, but some people don't realize when they come into the business that is what the culture of the business is. I feel like our team, all in all, we just have good girls in our team. We have great ladies that just naturally understand that. They just naturally feel that culture, and so we haven't really had to talk much about culture in our team. But you may come across someone new that does need to learn a little bit more about the culture, where they don't know that Deanne actually started doing pop-ups before this business was created, and that she actually knows exactly how we feel and exactly what we're going through. And so when they listen to Deanne, they're gonna realize they need to listen, because she knows what she's talking about, and Mark was right there by her side, and he knows what he's talking about. And then the mission, the values, and the basics of the business, or the fundamentals, is something that they need to learn as they're in the Q Club. And that's kind of where it comes to be a little bit more of our role, to teach that. And then get ready is the last expectation. Okay. All right. So then, as a retailer, those of us who, once you get to a retailer, you've onboarded, the next expectations for you is one, to learn and live the mission and core values. So as you become a consultant or a retailer now, you are actually going to have to learn how to incorporate the mission into your business and into your life. Rather than just knowing what it's about and knowing what it is and feeling it, you're going to want to live that. Number two, clearly identify your why. So now that you've started, maybe your why has adjusted a little bit. Maybe it's changed, or maybe it's the same, but just, clearly identify that and make sure that you have that still in focus. Number three, connect people with product. So what does that mean? That just means you start hosting parties, right? Pop-ups. You start doing online sales. You get your product to people. I was just on the call with the trainers today, and Deanne popped in. And I love Deanne because when she describes the business, she makes it sound, it's just so simple. We overcomplicate things, but basically what we do, how we make money, how we have success is we purchase our clothing at wholesale, we get it to our house, we put it in front of people, and then they purchase it and we make money. And that is as simple as it gets, and that is what we do. We overcomplicate it with all these extra things, but the simple idea is just that we connect people with product. Number four is be a learn-it-all. I mean, of course, in the beginning, there's lots to learn, and you have to be so open to learning it because there is a learning curve, and you guys know that. We all went through that. But for your new retailers, that's going to be a big learning curve in there, and they're going to need to make sure that they're open and willing to spend that time to learn. And then number five, participate in all trainings and webinars. And again, that's a given, but that new information that we get every week, that new inspiration that we get every week is so important. The local trainings, they're amazing. They give you such a different feeling than you feel on those home office calls. So they're so important, which, by the way, I won't be able to make it to the Provo training. I just realized because that's when Mike's trip is. Yeah. I know. So I'm like bummed. Darn it. But I hope that most all of the girls can go. That'll be really good for them. Chantel, maybe, hopefully. Yeah. So, okay. Number six, apply the 72-hour game plan over and over. We've done that a million times, you guys and I, and that's something that's really, it's essential to the LuLaRoe business. It's essential. They need to know how to do that, and they need to apply it, and they need to keep doing it over. And then number seven, what we talked about before with Deanne, keep it super simple. It's a simple business, and we don't need to overcomplicate it. Okay, so as a retailer, and we all are retailers, so we should all be doing these things. We should all, this should be, I think at this point for all of us, pretty much second nature. We've done all these things. So, all right. Next up, I wanted to go over, before we get to a sponsor's role and responsibilities, I wanted to show you what LuLaRoe defines as the fundamentals of the LuLaRoe business. And I'm so excited about this list because this is basically what we will be training on. All of this list of things is what we are going to be training on. And now as our team is growing, and we all have busy schedules, I feel like sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with trying to prepare trainings and things like that. And so what I would like to do is I would like to delegate out a training. You guys help me maybe once a month or every other month, depending on how we configure the schedule, to train on these fundamental topics. And so if, I would love, as you guys are sponsors, you have teams that are looking up to you, that are learning from you, and you guys all have such strengths in all different areas of your business. You know, you guys are stronger in some areas where I am weaker, and that's where I need your help, and you need and your expertise to come in and share your expertise with the team, and help your downline as well to be strong in those areas. So I will post this list of fundamentals on our leaders page, and then if you guys will just maybe decide what you feel like you could share about, pick 2, maybe 3 areas, and then we can just kind of go through and schedule out our Monday trainings, and you guys can take and it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a humongous training. Like, you don't have to go into huge detail, but all of the information that you need should be in Fashion Fundamentals. I go there a lot to refresh and to also, you know, kind of organize my thoughts for our trainings, our team trainings a lot of times. So it's a great resource. I found this PowerPoint in Fashion Fundamentals. So they have a lot of resources there. Okay, you guys, does that sound good, Carla? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so next up, it looks like they have a place where you can email your why if you would like to. We're going to go now to sponsor expectations. So, okay, so as a sponsor, that means you have at least one person on your team. And they said a sponsor is a person who introduces and supports another person. And so now that you have kind of mastered the retailer expectations, which you girls really have, I really, you know, I feel confident in your abilities to run your business. And so now that you've mastered that, the number 2 responsibility that you have to your team as a sponsor is to teach the mission and the 5 core values. What are the 5 core values? Love, purpose, confidence, trust, and growth. Those are our 5 core values. And so it's important that that we teach that to our team, that we teach that that's what we're all about, and to implement that into their businesses. Number 3 is take responsibility. This is a hard one because a lot of times, you know, your team does things that you're like, I don't know, guys, I don't know, right? Like, I'm not sure how, you know, like, why they're doing that. Why are they doing that? Why did they choose to do that? And yes, sometimes it's out of our control, but a lot of times I think we can really try to take responsibility, try to look inward and think about ways that maybe we could change what we're doing or change our approach to help that person. It's a trial and error, I will tell you right now, because there is no correct way to handle every situation, or even every same situation. You know, there's no correct way. But there are some better ways to handle them. And I think that's going to come with, we'll start talking about the power of TED. And I think that's a huge, awesome, they have some awesome tools in this book that you can use to talk with those who feel like maybe they're a victim, or maybe feel like, or maybe they're persecuting you, or maybe they're being persecuted. I don't know. So, but we'll talk more about that later. But number 3, take responsibility. Number 4, commitment to another's success. This is where I think I felt the most takeaway from our training, the trainers training, was that as a leader now, you need to be committed to helping your team be successful. It is now your job. You are now responsible for other human beings and their success. No, you can't control everything that they do. That's just a given. But you can absolutely do your best to help give them the tools that they need to succeed. And then from there, it's in their hands. So commit to another's success. Number 5, create meaningful and personalized recognition. I love this one because it totally speaks to me. It speaks to me as I need that recognition in my life. And we don't always get it. But if we can trickle it down, you know, from the top, we're not, you know, obviously we're not going to get recognition from Mark and Deanne because they have so many people to take care of. They have other leaders and things that they recognize, so that those leaders can then recognize their teams and so forth. And so it is our job to really recognize and maybe even just build relationships with those that are on our teams, those that we're taking care of. Number 6, treat your business like a business. This means something different to everyone. For me, I think I'm finding right now personally that treating my business like a business is scheduling out my time and not doing LuLaRoe 24/7, because it's overtaking my life. My husband feels, like sometimes I don't have time for him, or my kids, they feel neglected sometimes if I'm so busy and I'm constantly doing LuLaRoe. So I think as leaders, we need to set an example for our team as well, that we need to schedule out our time, and we need to not do LuLaRoe some of the day. We need to turn off that phone or not respond to messages for a part of the day, because that time is super important for us to take care of ourselves, or to take care of our family and other responsibilities that we have as a person, because LuLaRoe is not the only thing in our life. It was really cool, like what Lindsay said, and they've been saying this a lot, but if everything is top priority, everything is important in your life, then nothing is important in your life. And we need to set those priorities. We need to know, what's most important here, and right now, what is most important for me to do. Jarrett said that on the training call yesterday. He said, you're in the moment right now. What is most important for you to do? And I thought that was cool because that can apply just like right now. If we're right here right now, what's most important? And then you focus all your energy on that thing that's most important, and then move to the next thing. If your child is more important right here, right now, then that's what you do. That's what you focus on. But I think, again, creating a schedule is going to help alleviate the distractions between the things that we need to do. So, and then number 7 is create a clear playbook for your organization. And this was one of the other challenges that I had from our Focus 5 trainer call this week about creating a business playbook. And it's not a business playbook for the LuLaRoe business. It is a business playbook for your personal business. And so we're going to go over down here in the corner. I think it shows the questions that you want to answer to create your playbook over here on the right side. But I think there's a bigger slide here. Yes. Okay. So creating a business playbook is a lot about creating purpose for your business. I think for me, I've spent 2.5 years without too much of a purpose. Is more than like, I just know I want to do it, and I know I want to work hard, and I'm also competitive, and I think that just drove me, but I never really have defined like why. Number 1, why do I exist? Why does this business exist for me? When I told Mike, I was like, oh, it's to pay off debt. And he's like, no, that's not why you do it. and I had to really think about it. That's one of the effects of what I do, but that's not why I do it. So these are the 7 questions for you to create your business playbook. And it was really quite life-changing for me to sit down and write out answers to all these questions. So I would like you guys as well, this is the last thing I'm going to ask of you, to also create your business playbook. So memorize the mission statement. And then what was the second thing? I forgot. I should have written it down.
I should have written it down.
Oh yeah. I was going to have you select trainings to do. Let me write them down so that I don't forget. Mission statement, and then trainings. Pick 2 to 3 trainings that you'd be willing to teach on. Yeah, I think those are the only 2 things I've said so far. And then create your business playbook, which basically means just answer all these questions specific to your business. And they told us if it takes more than 10 minutes, you're overthinking it. So it shouldn't be something that is like so deep and like, oh yeah, I really need to figure this out. It's really simple. Just ask the question and write the answer. And the more that you develop your business playbook, you can add more details into it. But do a quick overview of these questions and answer those questions. Be pretty much like simple in your answers. So number 1 is, why do we exist? Why does your business exist? What is your why, pretty much? Like, why are you doing this? And what is the purpose of it? Number 2, what is our culture? And we do have LuLaRoe culture, and of course we want to apply that to our business, but what is your personal team, business's culture? That includes your team as well. So it's not just your own personal business. If you have a team, that includes, how your team plays into that. Number 3, what do we do? And that question, I was like, what does that mean? And then I just read it again. I was like, what do we do? Oh, okay. We do pop-up boutiques. We do them twice a week. Just say what you do. What do you do in your business? Number 4, what are the fundamentals? And the fundamentals that I just thought of in my business are, I work hard. I make connections with other women. I serve others, and I teach, I strengthen my team. And I love, I try to love those that I serve, and, things like that. Number 5, how will we succeed? What is your business plan? Like, how are you going to succeed? How many pop-ups are you planning? Do you do? How many new customers do you get? How many new teammates do you want? How are you going to succeed? And then number 6, what's most important right now for your business? What's most important right now for your business? And that comes with, how are you going to succeed? Maybe you need to decide, out of those things that you thought of in your success, how to succeed, what's the most important thing right now? I've been hearing a lot from our trainings as well. If you guys haven't read the book yet, Eat That Frog, it's really awesome. And I would suggest downloading it on Audible so that you can just listen to it. But they talk about how oftentimes 80% of the work that we do only produces 20% of the results we get. And vice versa. 20% of what we do oftentimes provides 80% of the results we get. So does that make sense, you guys? I mean, I think we spend a lot of time doing a lot of little important things, but that don't really affect the results that we get in our business. For example, shipping, invoicing, taking pictures. For me, I don't make money doing those things. That is not how I make my money. It's to me, that's busy work. That is something I feel I can delegate out, and I can better spend my time doing something that's going to affect the results of my business more. Talking to new people about the business, or, selling on Facebook, or sharing the opportunity with people, and sitting down with people and talking to them about that. So think about that when you're thinking what's most important right now. And you could even ask that to yourself every single day. What is my most important thing I need to get done today? And get that done first thing in the morning. Get that done first thing, because then everything else will seem easy after that. And then lastly, number 7, who must do what? And this question just basically means, like, what are you going to do? Maybe your husband helps you. What is he going to do? You have an assistant. What do they do? And you define those who must do what responsibilities. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're not gonna get into the key performance indicators yet. We're just gonna stop here in defining our business playbook. So I will post these questions as well on our leaders page. And so the 3 things that I would love for you to be ready to share about and have done by next week when we have our call are memorize the mission statement. And you can post it too, somewhere in your room. Post it somewhere so you can see it and get that memorized. I will post the fundamental trainings on our leaders page so that you can choose 2 or 3 different subjects that you would be willing to teach on for the next while. And what we'll probably do is we'll end up teaching through all of these, and then we'll just cycle back. And then maybe you and I can teach something differently the next time around. But we'll start with these, and if we get more topics that we want to talk about, if we think of more things that our team needs from us, then we can add those in, and that's easy. And then lastly, the last thing is to write a business playbook. Answer these questions for your personal business, which includes your team as well. All right. Do you guys have any questions about that I can answer for you?
I don't think so.
Okay. Carla, that makes sense for you as well? Hopefully. Go back to okay.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I can hardly hear. I lost volume about 10 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to have to re-listen to some of it. But okay. I'm going to talk. I can hear you saying something. So go ahead, try something.
No worries. I was just going to, I'll record it and then you can go back and listen to it later.
Okay. I can hear that part.
Some of the challenges that I challenged you guys in this call, I'll put those up on our leaders page. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in, and always know that I'm here for you and I'm happy to help in the way that I can. And hi, Liam. Have fun with your mommy.
Say hi.
Lincoln tried to say hi a little earlier, and I told him he needed to go out.
He's going crazy.
Thank
you.
Hey, you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, thanks, Jen. Talk to you soon.
Bye.